Boom, we're back.
Yes.
Following our event, August 31st, it's the Wednesday after.
Yes, sir.
That event was crazy, had a lot of fun.
Yep.
Some ups, some downs, but we got it done.
I'd like to mention it's the Wednesday before Space Marines 2. I just have to mention.
Yeah, Space Marines 2. We're going to go hard. It's coming out tomorrow, 11 a.m.
Let's go.
Yeah, it's going to be crazy.
Oh, yeah, we had a great event. It's a new video game. Yeah.
It's a video game. Yeah.
But we had a really good event.
What are you guys talking about?
Yeah, Space Marines 2.
We're geeking out in the middle.
Yeah. Very excited. Yeah, very excited. Yeah, the event was crazy. We got a special tabletop made, and we were told by Billy of Combat Arms Sports that this is the first tabletop that he's made that has any graphics on the side.
Awesome.
And he actually took pictures of it, better pictures, and posted on his website so he can kind of sell that. And I was like, oh, why the fuck would nobody put graphics on the side? That's kind of crazy. Use all of the space. That's crazy. But it came out great.
It came out perfect. Yeah. I was impressed.
And on stream, it looked awesome too. So if you guys haven't checked it out, flashpinproductions.com.
You know what I'm mad about just now, thinking about the table?
What's that?
All the after pulling I did, none of it was on that table.
Oh, you did it on the blue one. Oh, the
I did it on the blue one, and I wanted to beat some people up with that extra
on that one. That's all good, man.
Big elbow pad.
Felt delicious.
Yeah.
I bet it did.
I don't know if those athletes even noticed that big elbow.
I'm telling you, I did not.
I'll tell you what, Livingston went on about it.
I put the Ezreal elbow pad on top of it, like upside down, and
see the difference?
Man, it wasn't that much of a difference.
Really?
Yeah.
Should be half an inch.
So the biggest difference, though, is going to be 1 o'clock to 7 o'clock, right? That's the biggest difference.
Yes. Yeah, from corner to corner was the biggest difference. But on the sides...
Well, now that I think about it, it's a half inch.
It's a half inch, one direction.
Yeah. Quarter inch bigger all the way around.
Yeah.
So
there was about a quarter inch on each side, and it was like... I could see how it would save you from elbow fouls, because that distance is probably what most people get fouled out on.
Yeah.
But as... like feeling it, like
so in your mind now that we know that, do we want to do what Billy was saying and go 8?
Right.
Like
8 inches, I think would be
the bigger the better.
I think we should focus on
it's getting bigger.
Just a whole fucking table.
You have the same amount of blood in you as me.
Stop. We're not doing this. We're not doing
Let's not do this.
That's a real fact.
Hey, you know, I'm a little skeptical.
So
I think we should focus on the new elbow pad.
If we voted, if we voted, and it's going to have the redesign, 8 inches with the redesign.
No. I'm not talking about. Well, I mean, I guess.
With
the redesign.
We're talking about the.
I know what we're talking about.
Yeah. Let's make that. Yeah,
8
for
inches
sure.
With the redesign, because you're going to lose an inch on the redesign.
Right.
Yeah, definitely.
Because there's the lip.
Yeah.
Which should be like an inch.
Yeah. Which is
like an inch tall and
an inch thick.
Yeah, it could be an inch thick too.
Yep.
So then you're talking about an 8-inch pad with 7 inches of space.
Play space. Traditional play space.
We'd have to test it to see what that feels like. Yeah.
Problem is, you got to pay for a mold to test it
over and over.
Yeah. That's already happening.
Yeah. But Billy said he's already on.
He's already on.
Nice.
It's all happening.
It's awesome.
I think,
and he's going the exact route that we talked about.
Yeah.
We should.
So is he going to implement that in tournaments? That pad? Or is
I don't know, but maybe he'll let us retest it.
I don't think Billy knows what he's up against.
Yeah.
I don't think he's thought through it far enough to realize the challenges that he's going to face.
I think he did.
Maybe
we talked about it with him, and he had the same idea that I did, and he was like, "We can absolutely do it."
Yeah.
But it's all easy when you say it, but when you try to do it,
and the people that did it realize that it's not very easy.
Yeah,
it's actually very hard.
Yeah.
So I don't doubt that Billy can pump something.
Yeah.
I have no.
Well, we'll see about it. It's something
like you said. It's tested.
Let us trial it. and if our practice does it, we'll beat it up and see where it goes.
I think it's worth trying to figure it out because it's a big problem in the game. So
yeah, elbow fouls in general just it plagues like a good match.
Right.
Seriously,
but it also sorry to cut you off. Mm-hmm. I think one of the matches I was watching, and it looked like somebody was trying to do a professional foul, but you guys didn't call it. And that was, I was like, this is interesting, you know?
Yeah.
And then you didn't call it, and he just like got back in and started grinding. He ended up losing, but I was like, that sucks. Like you know.
He could have.
Yeah, I was like, you could.
Bring it up and hold it.
Hold it.
The rule is
well, he does. I know exactly what you're talking about, and he goes just like that.
Yeah.
Wait, what match was this?
Cody and Zamora?
Oh, no, this was James against Trey.
James against Trey.
Yeah, and he was losing, and he went.
And he goes.
And I was like,
it was James and Trey.
Oh, they didn't call it. And he was like,
I think I remember what you're talking about. Yeah, and it would have been a foul.
It
would have been a foul in losing position. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, you might have.
I think I remember
said that.
Yeah, I don't know.
I made that call, foul, losing position.
Yeah, I think you did.
Maybe.
But either way, yeah.
Anyway, what do we think of that rule?
The bobbles?
Nobody's mentioned the bobbles. We haven't really talked about it.
Well, they talked to me about it. Other athletes did.
Okay.
Yeah.
I never heard anything bad. Everybody liked it.
Yeah.
I asked people what they thought of the rule set. Everybody liked the rule set in general.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nobody was particularly upset or bothered by elbow fouls or balls.
No.
Nobody said anything to me.
Yeah. Livingston was a little upset about one of his elbow fouls off the back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I remember
that. It's a tough thing to be upset about. But
I think it was a pin, actually.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, he told me.
With the right arm?
Like, he told me he was upset about it.
Yeah, I looked at that a few times, and I can see where he could have an argument for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But that's why you protest calls.
Yeah.
No, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
But I think it went really well. I think the elbow bobbles went really well. Like we said before, the purpose of these
Cody and Zamora both bobbled, and they both loved it.
We're trying to accomplish fair arm wrestling. I think we did that.
Right.
Yes.
And I think and the other thing was make it as entertaining as possible. Mm-hmm. I think we did that.
For sure.
We did. The thing that we did the best was getting to the action and keeping the action rolling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was so fast.
Yeah.
Like, from announcing and being excited about these guys to them competing was righteous.
Yeah.
Like,
it was good.
Like,
I definitely think going straight to a referee's grip
was the best
straight cuts out so much time.
So much of the fluff. Yeah.
And especially when you guys walk up there like, strap it up. Let's do it.
Exactly.
Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah, Livingston was down. The day before, it was like, I was like, dude, you want to go into a strap? He was like, yeah. I was like, oh, this is going to be amazing.
Yeah.
You know, and not even just because I felt like it would be an advantage.
Right.
I just felt like, again, it would just cut out the fluff. We would get right to the match.
Yeah.
And
I mean, can we talk about how insane it is that James and Trayton never went to a strap?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. They decided to just stay in it. Had they both just want to hang on.
I was cornering James, all I would have said to him after those first two has been like, get to the strap immediately.
Yeah.
You got to do anything different?
Yeah.
It's going to be getting over.
Yeah.
You can't do that again.
I think
you guys might as well just start it off right here.
Yeah.
I think
it's dragging you in.
I think Trayton was just so dominant, it just probably got into his head.
Oh, yeah, it was messy.
You know,
he didn't expect that at all.
Yeah.
For some reason, I feel like James was trying, but he just couldn't do it.
Yeah.
Like, Trey just grabbed his hand and just
I just find
threw it down to the
Trayton's
mat.
hand is an intimidating hand by any stretch of your imagination. Like, it's probably the lowest tier of his weapons. So getting, and he wants to go to the strap. He's going to let you.
Yeah.
But I think that
and usually
James off guard.
Well, he's usually the one that
goes to it
anyway. Like, he'll just
and for him to feel, I told him, like, if you go into this match, the first one, like, he was practicing slipping. And I was like, look, let's practice hanging on for once and see where it goes. And when he first hung on through that first one, I thought it was a fluke that he got him, that he caught him off guard. But then the second one, I was like, he's in trouble.
Yeah.
And I thought James was going to win. And I thought James was very confident too, up until he wasn't, right?
Right.
And then it's like, oh man. But dude, talk about a passionate guy. Afterward, that dude's like, please let me back on. I want to bust this.
Yeah, he's
very excited.
There's something to be said about traveling to an event. Now, he was traveling from El Paso, and he had a hard time.
He had a rough time. He flew into Dallas, called me in Dallas, said he'll be here soon.
That was on Friday at like 7?
No, that had to be at like 4:30 that he's going to be there soon. I'm like, cool, man, no problem. He's flying from Dallas, short flight. And then he hit me up like 25 minutes later that his flight got canceled.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'm not going to be there past 11.
Yeah.
I can't wait all night. I have to be back at 9 a.m. to weigh you in. Maybe you want to rent a car. He ended up renting a car, trucking down, left his bag.
Yeah.
His bag was already on the other plane, flying it out. It was a nightmare for that guy. And I've been there.
Yeah.
I went through it when I went against his teammate.
Right.
And I told him, man, I've been there, bro. Like, I went through it against Luis. And he goes, damn, Luis, that's a tough one to go through that with. Yeah. I got smacked around like a little kid. But.
Yeah, it's a big deal.
Yeah,
traveling.
And with the weight cut, too.
Right. He showed up, and he was still 0.4 over, and he sat in his car, dressed himself up, and blasted the heat to drop the rest of the weight. That's going to drain you. Like, so you're stressed out.
50 at that point.
Yeah, stressed out. Still got to drop weight. And you know what I mean? So your central nervous system is already like, why? Because you're like, I need to get there on time. I need to weigh in. I need to make sure that I make the weight.
You're like rattled.
Yeah. And it's like, granted, he had from 10:30, 11 o'clock to go to his hotel and sleep.
11 o'clock, he had to go to the airport to get his bag.
Yeah, it's like
so much wickedness.
It's not enough time to like recoup. So
I told him that too.
Yeah,
I was like, dude, we understand.
Yeah, we definitely get it.
You definitely want to practice your travel arrangements.
Yep.
And I learned the hard way too, though. Like,
me too. When I went
this
to Colorado,
teaches like all of us. I mean, even for someone like me that's never traveled, if I do, taking all that into consideration.
It's better to get there a couple days ahead.
What he's thinking is El Paso, Austin, it's the same state.
Deal.
Could it be?
Frank said me and Frank were talking about it in that match. And Frank's like, people in New York are like, oh, they have a Jersey tournament. They go to it.
I traveled. It's like, well,
we traveled like 7 hours in Texas.
Yeah.
Like, that's a whole nother level.
Yeah, it's. I don't know how long the flight is, but it's got to be at least 4 hours, right? 3 hours, 4 hours.
Well,
it's a 10-hour drive from here
to Dallas. I bet you that's an hour
or more. Because
well, no, it'd have to be more than that.
Yeah, because Dallas to here is an hour, 48 minutes.
48 minutes. Yeah. Maybe it's 2 hours.
Yeah. It's 10-hour drive. That's insane.
Yeah, it's 10-hour drive.
Yeah. Either way, it's travel, takes its toll.
For sure. But they had a great match. It was fun. Yeah. The right hand was incredibly dominant.
Yeah.
Yeah, very, very much.
Yeah. I'd say all the matches went pretty well. I didn't realize that Robert Fowler and Chris Coughlin were going to have a left-handed match until the day of.
Yeah.
They hit me up, basically, and we're like, hey, man, we don't want to travel this far and not pull both arms.
Yeah, totally.
I was like, I get it, man. Yeah, we'll make it work.
Let's make it work.
Dude, they both said to me they wish it was gauntlet style. Like the Pitbull match.
I don't know if they mean that.
I'm like, whoa.
I think that they wish that they could have pulled that off. I don't think that those two guys were.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm telling you, they were like dying.
No doubt. They said they would have trained for it, though. It would have been a different thing to train for, and it looked fun.
Yeah.
And it was like, okay.
That's right, yeah.
And talking to Caleb and Benville, they loved it. And I was like, okay.
Yeah.
I thought it was cool. Mm-hmm. It was different. But my problem with it is it's 2 separate matches.
Right. So how do you score it? Like you keep 2 different scores.
And you keep different scores. And it works.
So that was my screw up. I can do it. Like I said, there's debriefs. Yeah, there's debrief. And part of it is running 3 monitors instead of 2.
Well, you wouldn't be the score guy anymore.
No, but I'd still need 3 monitors.
But we'd hand that scoreboard to Frank the whole time.
Yeah. I'd have to
keep track of fouls and everything. We're fine with it.
Yeah.
He is a mobile unit, and he's on his PC the whole time.
Yeah, he just doesn't know how to use it. So I'd have to teach him how to use it.
Great idea.
But yeah, you can put 2 of them side by side. It's still a mess. Like there's no good way to do it.
It seemed a little chaotic. But it seemed like there was definitely.
Well, the good thing is it went exactly how it should have gone.
Yeah.
So that helped, right? Like it was like Caleb did great on the left and Michael did great on the right. So it was like that was easy. But if it was like back and forth, I was like, I can't. Because
it would have been like just get rid of it, and me and Frank kept repeating what's going on anyway in the score.
Yeah.
To keep because we could see that it's hard to do. We were like, okay, we'll just keep everybody on page.
Yeah.
One of the things that I learned really funny about this event, and when I hear myself speak and I'm not on the camera, that's one thing for me to deal with. I don't know about how you guys feel
what do you mean
about
by that?
I'll get to
hearing his own voice.
Yes. I don't know how you guys feel about hearing your own voice.
It's weird.
I love hearing my own
it's
voice.
weird. Yeah.
Or like if you're playing a video game and you have an echo and you hear yourself talking to the guy, it's like, do I really sound like that? Dude, me and Frank were both going, is this the hardest thing you've ever done? I was like, thank you, bro. Yeah. Hearing myself, I want to kill myself. He's like, me too, dude. I'm going to blow my brains out. He's like, anytime I repeat myself, I'm like, me too, dude. I just like, it's hard, but maybe an hour or so in, I got used to it. And it was like, oh, okay. Everything's cool. You're just so critical on yourself.
Yeah.
And that is something to get used to.
So do you think like before an event like this, you'll be more mentally prepared?
Oh, so much more. Yeah. This one was an eye-opener in that realm.
You're getting more and more experience under your belt.
Yeah, and it changes
You're
things.
more familiar every time.
For sure.
And you're getting more confident. At the end of the day, Bedwell called out Sharkovich.
Yeah, that was
for
crazy.
right-handed match.
Yes.
And then I thought to myself, God damn.
Tall order.
First thing I thought. I was like, that seems like a lot. I think maybe we're a little ways away from that. I think Bedwell probably knows that's the tall order.
Bedwell and I talked.
But it made me,
he said not just yet, but it's the match he wants.
Yeah.
It
made me think, what do you guys have planned? Because I know all of our viewers, you've heard it, I've heard it, people have talked about it. They want to see us bring in some big names. So, what do you guys have planned? Anything?
We'll be. So, what's today's date? The 4th?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yes.
We will have news October 1st about the next one.
Nice.
Okay.
And we'll see. We'll let everybody know.
Okay.
You guys will know before everybody else, but
But
I'm gonna go into the darkness for a week.
Yeah.
Personally, for sure.
Yeah.
And I'm probably dragging him with me, and not think about arm wrestling for a week. After every moment of life, right? We're so dedicated to that event and practicing and who's doing what and every athlete doing this, that, matches canceling, people falling apart. So and so can't get here. Like. Whoa. Yeah, a lot to disengage.
A lot for you guys.
But some of the things that have been said to me are, we want to do heavyweights and 198s. We had the 76ers. We had some heavyweights. Heavyweights and 55ers could be fun too.
Fussell hit me up.
Fussell is just such a dangerous character.
What about
and he's a ranked character.
Yeah.
What about I'm talking out of state Sharkovich?
Well, I think we have to do Roman and Gilstrap.
Yeah, Roman and Gilstrap has to happen.
And I think that Tucker and Nate are a guarantee.
Yeah, they definitely want.
Tucker Keating and Nate McAllen.
Yeah,
that's a great match.
At 242s.
Roman Gromov and Kaylee
Gilstrap.
Yeah, that was supposed to be on this card.
Those are two really awesome matches.
Yeah, that's a great one.
I think those are the kinds of matches people.
Oh, I mean, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. Hopefully the platform is going to give us something to be able to talk about with those athletes.
Yeah, I like that we had a lot of 176ers. I like that there's a bunch of guys that are competitive. Like they're all
close.
They're all fucking close. And that was super cool to see.
Yeah, I mean, like he's like a take on Heath.
Yeah.
And then Heath, meanwhile, is just like, I'll take on you. And I'm like, I'm not going to arm wrestle you at my event.
Right.
I am 100% positive I can't do any of that. No way am I.
Not while you're
I'm
announcing and commentating.
But I was like, Heath, once you get $500 together, I'll tell you whatever you want. I'll take your money, no problem. Yeah. But I think Heath is really great at 176 and should focus on what does he want his next thing to be? And he's like, well, I'll kill Ian. I'll kill both the other guys. And I'm like, well, those guys might not think that.
Yeah.
Trayton and him both don't think that.
Yeah, I don't think that.
So it's
man.
But then again, I've never pulled him, so I can't. But I feel confident. Especially with my right.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, his right's is good, and his left is so far.
I mean, if he wants to do both, I'm down with that too.
He wants to do both.
Yeah, I'll be totally down with that.
Yeah, bringing guys back for sure is something we want to do, right? We want to grow some of these guys. Mm-hmm. The biggest thing I think we want to bring to the next one is some time spent with the athletes we intend to bring in.
Yeah, that's definitely got to happen. I was actually just talking to Bo about that today. We went to lunch.
Nice.
But yeah, that's the main part of Flashback.
Number one
is humanizing all of our athletes and anyone that competes on our cards. And when I say our athletes, I'm not like egging, like, I'm just saying like people that compete on our card, we care more about how they are as athletes than I think most other productions do. So we want to go out to them and see how they live, what their story is, how they train, because almost every single one of these guys, you guys, has a fucking story to tell about how you got into this. Yeah. It's arm wrestling's interesting because it's a community of people that would otherwise probably never hang out. Everybody's so different, and everybody kind of gravitates this after going through some shit. You know, like, and most people that join arm wrestling are later on in life, 30 plus, right? It's one of the only sports that you can do into your 70s if you want.
I mean, that's why I got into it. I mean, I was injured. I was a big time rock climber, injured my back. And for like a year and a half, 2 years, all I did was rehab and
non-competitive year and a half.
Yeah, exactly. And just like focused on my strength, you know, and then I was like, I want to do something again, you know, and then, you know, voila, like arm wrestling just came into my life.
I played for a flag football league for years. And then I was doing any type of martial arts I can get my hands on and trying to do them competitively. And then when I found this, I was like, man, I'm way less beat up. Everything about it, granted, I couldn't throw a football anymore. I mean, I'm talking to me 6 weeks into this. My elbows are so rolling up. Like, what's wrong? I was like, I'm in sport, boys. Doing some manly shit.
Like, you can't throw a ball anymore.
They're hurting.
I can throw a ball now, but I mean, it took probably 9 months of practice before throwing a ball would feel like it was okay. But yeah, I mean, there's so many good stories. Bedwell, when he won, and I spent a little time with him, you know, saying I'm so thankful for you winning and doing what you did, and your energy was fantastic. I like that violence is your answer. That's fun. And I'd love to tell your story a bit. And he's like, brother, I have a story. He's like, please come spend some time with me. I'm happy to reveal all. And Trey sent a message to all the athletes in the athlete chat that I would read verbatim, but I could summarize it. And what he was saying is, as men, especially as males in the world today, we don't get enough credit and we work hard for each other. And if he could just give us a stage for 1 minute for some of these guys like yourself, or even myself personally, I felt like a hero. And to give everybody that was the goal. And I think that goal was achieved for sure. But bringing the humanity, I think it's number one. Spending time with athletes.
Yeah, it's important. Because, you know, most of us still have to work to do this, but a lot of us want to have aspirations of making money doing this. And it's like, it's a very unique sport in that respect. Most other sports, it's like you did it as a kid, you did it through college, maybe you kept going, you went on and played semi-pro or pro. This, even if you do that, you still have to work.
It never stops.
It never stops. Like, and you have to balance having kids and working with your workouts and all. And it's like, it's an intense extreme sport. Yep. Like that, you cannot half-ass arm wrestling. There's no team. You can't rely on like, oh, I'll let my teammates carry me through. Yeah. No. This is one-on-one combat. And it's a lot. You're hurting all the time. Even when you're like, I feel pretty good. That first second you grip that dumbbell or another person's hand, you're like, fuck.
Yeah, and it's really exciting too. Another thing at the table, right? The first time you're in a tournament setting and you get up there, it's like, this is what I've been training with. Yeah. This is way different. Yeah. I go times 100 in the tournament. My ability level.
It jumps.
And for everybody, that's a different feeling. Yep. But I mean, for me, when the lights hit, I'm like, let's rumble.
Yeah. Right.
On your note about matches, one of the ones I think I'm most interested in, and I think we're going to be have Caleb work with me quite a bit. He mentioned that he'd like to be involved with matchmaking, and he's competed for a long time. I didn't even realize how long time.
9 years.
And he's 9+.
Yeah.
He's got a lot of good connections.
Caleb Ricks,
has a lot of good connections, and he's like, let's do some brainstorming and put some things together. I was like, 100%, no problem. But one of the ones we came up with for Bedwell, because there's levels, right? Andre's level, Bedwell's level. He and I both think it's like right below Andre, which means it's in striking distance. I think Ryan Bellinger from Carolina Chaos.
Yep.
That's a fun match.
What does Ryan usually weigh, though? What is he on Aries?
He did compete at East First West at 209.
He did. Yep.
And he competes.
Was that a big cut for him?
No.
It didn't seem like he seemed super comfortable. He's shorter. Yeah.
But he's stocky.
He's lighter, too.
Yeah, well, they both compete at 220. They both pulled 220 quite a bit.
Yeah, but if 209 is not a big cut.
They pulled against each other at the round robin.
Ryan Bellinger that went against Coach Ray?
Yeah.
Thanks.
He pulled up to 220.
Yeah, well, I mean, he's competed in 220 enough to be in that tournament.
Yeah. But he probably walks around under 220.
No. That guy's thick.
He's a big boy.
He's thick.
Okay, well then 209 is not an easy cut then.
Yeah. 12 pounds is pretty easy when you're big like him, for sure.
Okay, so he walks around at 222 pounds.
Probably around there.
Okay, so that's not that far, not that big of a difference between 222 and 220.
I can't find him at all.
Whereas Michael Bedwell, what did he cut down to 225 from?
Who?
30.
Bedwell, 230. Yeah.
Okay, so give or take, there's a 10-pound difference.
Yeah. Oh, it's 1L. Okay.
He's a 1653 at 231 plus.
So that's like a 5 kilo.
Oh, he's
number
almost
17 at 230.
He's almost 1,700 on the right. Fuck.
That's awesome.
Yeah. That's a good one, right? That's in the US.
He's
number 10 at 220.
Number 10.
Almost all his matches are there.
What's his ELO?
One of his matches.
What's his ELO?
17.
1,700?
17 plus, yeah.
Damn.
His ELO is 1742.
1740. That's a lot. How long has he been pulling? Can you look at it?
Yeah. So
I'll try to pull this up onto the video so you guys can see what the hell we're talking about.
2022. Since 2022? Yeah.
That's probably just because they don't have older tournaments.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, 2020.
Yeah.
2020. Okay.
He was bigger.
But he's been pulling for 10 years.
No, I don't think so. I think he's a newer guy. Yeah. Not that old school.
Think so?
Yeah.
Crazy.
I thought his dad was an arm wrestler.
I thought it was Dean. That's his name, right?
Yeah, I think his dad was an arm wrestler.
Yeah.
He's like
Oh, maybe he is.
Pedigree.
Yeah,
I could be wrong.
Whatever those guys doing over there is crazy also. So
these guys are crazy.
Yeah.
Kind of chaos.
I think that's a good
match though.
Bellinger versus Bedwell.
I mean, Caleb's pulled them both. Caleb thinks it's a very good match.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. I'd be curious for sure. I think that the height of Bedwell and the way that he pulls very flat wristed, sideways pulling is challenging with that height.
Mm-hmm.
And if Ryan can get it inside, I mean, inside is what Bedwell would have to train for sure.
So at Texas State 2023, Michael Bedwell lost in the super match against Ryan Carter.
Mm-hmm.
Another long arm.
Yeah.
Do we? I know we all like to see that super match, but I think
that rematch.
Yeah.
Oh, it's fire.
Actually, I think it's a grudge.
That was one of the first matches we thought of.
It's a grudge match.
But I was gonna say,
the only reason
I'd rather see, as a viewer, as a fan of Flashpoint, I think we'd rather see Ryan Carter versus somebody else. You know?
Sure.
Yeah, definitely.
Never thought about getting a match for him.
Yeah.
He was one of the first people. He's like one of the guys in Texas.
Yep.
He had a baby, so he couldn't make that.
Yeah, he couldn't make it.
But getting him a match would be fun. I think we have to talk a bit about IFA weight classes.
And how to nail it down because
how to nail it down, what we want to do, right? Do we want to go?
It needs to be
with 187, 209, 231, or 230.
Why not just have weight classes for every 5 kilos and athletes choose
we're not trying to make
division they want to be. You're not making them up. You're doing every 5 kilos. The weight classes are what they are. 176, 187, 198, 209,
176 plus 5 kilos is not 187, right?
Yes, it is. Yeah.
Oh, it is.
It's
all of them are already like that.
Yeah,
that's
154, 165,
so you're saying
176, 187. No. IFA is not that. I'm saying combine the two
together
every 5 kilos.
So part of the goal is to try and help North America get under one banner, though. Like, it's a really big deal to me when I train. To know where I'm going to be competing over the next year is really going to dictate where my cardio's at, how my eating is. Like, if I'm going to compete at 187, that's a big difference than 209.
Right.
Yeah.
I would rather compete at 198 than 209, but if I have to choose from the two, I think I'm a gladiator at 187. So
I hear you. So then, with that being, let's assume that most athletes think that way.
Mm-hmm.
We can't be asking athletes like Ryan Bellinger, who beat a 209, to pull somebody at 225.
Mm-hmm. Unless they agree to it, but we're not doing 225. They would be 209. So that was. I had a problem with that.
Yeah, we had
from the beginning, and it's going to get counted as I said it was going to get counted in the hook, whatever. They can do whatever they want, right? But the idea is, it seems like everybody cares about like East versus West weight class or European weight classes, and I think it's easy to sit at 215 because then I can compete at 209, 220, right? Mm-hmm. It makes it easier so I can still compete in America.
Yeah,
but for those, challenger, qualifiers, it's like, I can go 209. It doesn't even suck that much because it's a super easy
you
weight
have the exact mindset of an athlete that would be competing in two different, an IFA and a WF weight classes every 5 kilos, which is what I'm saying. So you could just make it every 5 kilos. All those divisions are available to athletes to compete in. If they want to.
I don't know if I would want to give them that option. I think I would just want to make it like we're doing same weight classes East versus West does.
Right?
Just to keep it.
When we bring up the Bedwells and all these guys at 230, let's say if we went IFA, or 220, right? Whichever one is chosen. You have all these guys home brewed. And then people that want to come to our ring to fight for those weight classes. It's a lot of belts to make too to create champions. That's a way big one. One of the biggest hurdles I think we have though is we very much want to be involved with the Texas Arm Wrestling League rankings. Though that's an issue. We learned because our matches are all best 3 of 5. And we learned at the end that another 2 guys that were competing for a rank decided that it was 2 out of 3, but didn't let us know.
Yeah.
So it would have been an easy correction for us. We were all there. We could have talked about it any time.
Could have stopped it.
We could have stopped the match even. Wow, how crazy did you want to get, right? We could have fixed that, but no one said anything. So we just ran with what we had.
Yeah, that's, once again, lessons learned. On the document that we're going to be sending the athletes, now I have to add that section, right? What are you guys competing for? Rules. Yeah, like this is, so we know. So we don't.
It's in the rules.
Yeah.
That you sent to everybody?
Oh, yeah.
It says all
3 of 5
matches are 3 of 5?
Yes.
Interesting, yeah.
And that's what the match they agreed on.
That's, yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know what.
Well, now we learn that maybe we need to make people sign.
Yeah, sign the rules. Saying you read
this.
I don't think that's a thing that we need to be. That's a TAL thing that they need to square away. That's not how I would.
Yeah, well,
I have to think really hard about how I would handle that, but I don't know. That's interesting.
Right now, since they're not giving us shit about it, it's fine.
Yeah,
but it could be a problem.
Yeah, we just don't want guys to run into things that make them sad.
What athletes need to understand when they sign up for a flash pin card is that their match is going to be 3 of 5.
Yeah, best 3 of 5.
And if they choose to do a match that is for a rank, then they have to understand that it has to be a 3 of 5 match.
Right.
It's just the way it is.
Yeah, so like Dustin was saying, it's difficult to kind of.
Yeah.
Especially if they hash out afterwards.
Yeah.
Like impossible. We want everyone to be happy. Right? We're all just trying to make a platform that everyone has fun.
So you're telling me for TAL, if it's a best out of 5, it's not a ranking match?
No, it can't be.
But it's going to be the first, the person that gets 2 wins, right?
One person said that, hey, it was supposed to be 2 out of 3. We did 3 out of 5.
That's what they agreed on. They originally agreed on 2 out of 3.
Do you mind me asking who this was?
No, we don't.
But we ended up doing 3 out of 5, which is not what they agreed on. And it's like, can you still honor the winner of the match as the rank holder now? Because the match wasn't what they agreed on.
Right.
Right, and we didn't hit them up and say, "Hey, you're the rank holder," but
it's not
between the 2 of them. They got into it, and we don't want to create friction situations. But what I'm getting to about us working with the TAL is the TAL is under it's WAF weight classes, right? It's what 198, 220, 242 supers. Those are considered WAF classes.
Oh, that's a great question.
I thought that was
what Aries tells you. What Aries say?
So with that being said, we probably need to stay in line because we will have Texas ranking matches.
Yeah.
And those weight classes need to be what they are for that reason. I do think it would be really cool if everybody changed though. To everybody, just one American banner.
WAF.
It's WAF, okay. One American banner was, this is what all the weight classes are. With the way that WAF is currently, that may not be the one.
This
is 198.
Yeah.
So maybe now's the time that we take our pitchforks and we put them in the bag and then we go, hey, let's do IFA weight classes or whatever the case may be.
So I just feel like when you have,
it's interesting it's interesting that's WAF weight classes. East vs. West doesn't use WAF weight classes.
Yeah, they use because it's not 176, it's 179, isn't it?
I've seen them do both.
Yeah, I've seen both too. But I think now they're doing IFA.
Yeah, but now they have belts. Now they have a belt for every weight class that you can look up right now.
Where do you see that?
On the East vs. West website. And they have all their champions.
Is it every 5 kilos?
No. Definitely not.
I remember trying to look this up, and they don't really have it anywhere. But there's a Reddit. There's a Reddit that talks about it.
Could I have seen it on Reddit? That's possible.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have a picture of every champion. But while they're looking that up, Lorenzo, when you look back on your flash pin experience, tell us about what the experience was like from the athlete's perspective.
I mean, it was. First of all, it was extremely organized, which I loved. There was like, all right, this is the way it's going to be. You stand on the X, you're going to hear your music, smoke, that I loved. I loved that there was organization. So I knew exactly what I had to do. And then just the energy was great.
How was the Studio B in the back? All the athletes back there.
It was a little quiet.
Yeah.
Really? It feels like a lot of people back there. I kept asking, what is it like back there?
Yeah, it was cool, but it was a little quiet. I mean, if we had a little music, maybe that would have done something. Yeah. But guys went upstairs, watched the matches. That was kind of cool. All of us were warming up. The energy was good. The energy was good back there. Yeah. There was there was nothing weird. Yeah. So, but yeah, I mean, overall, I mean, the event was great. The athletes were really respectful. It was an awesome event.
Cool.
Yeah.
And as far as the competition itself, did you feel the size of the pads being different or anything like that? I mean, what do you think of the rule set?
The rule set was great. I never have an issue with fouling.
Yeah, I'm not.
So I don't know if I could tell the difference, but maybe when I look back at my match, especially my left-handed match, I could definitely tell I was using the pin pad a little bit more. So maybe there was a bit of a difference with the pad size where I could maneuver a bit more.
Did you like starting in the rest grip?
I mean, to me, if I could have every match start like that, it would be heaven.
I think it's easy to train for too.
It's easy to train for, but it's
the most with the homie who cheats every time you practice with them.
It's the most fair. It's the most fair grip I have ever experienced in a competition.
That's a good front.
Yeah. There was no fuckery. You can't do it was just don't move, go. That shit.
How did you feel about the cadence?
It was
There's
great.
a lot to say about that.
It was great because there was no cadence.
Yeah, getting people to understand that, the arguments I had of there was cadence, and I was like, no, he can say get ready as many times as he wants.
Yeah, what is the cadence?
Yeah, and it's
there wasn't a cadence. I think so. James, and I'm sure he had jitters and everything, but he kept moving as you were saying, don't move, and then go, because he didn't realize that you were going to say it after each.
I have a couple thoughts on that. I'd like to hear your opinion, especially you as the athlete. So part of that was me saying don't move too loud, so where the don't move sounds like go.
Oh, you think so?
Don't move.
No, that doesn't make sense to me.
No, it makes perfect sense.
Are you saying ready, go?
No, when you're sitting there as an athlete, you're
poised. You're waiting for that next.
And you're just waiting for a really loud go.
Because he was doing that. Yeah. He was doing
and you hear do?
Yep.
It's pretty close to go.
Yeah.
And if I say it really loud, like I'm saying go, then people fall start.
Right.
So what I started doing throughout the day was I started saying, don't move. Go.
Yeah.
I like that.
Making that more
sort of
quiet.
say it softly, and then they stopped false starting.
Right.
But also, I heard the amount of don't moves is a problem.
Well, what do you guys think?
While I was watching in the control room, I was like, maybe we cut down on the don't moves.
I thought the same.
It was
the only
because I just saw people moving because in tournaments it's more words, right? Like you hear more words. But when you, like you said, when you split it up, I'm telling you, arm wrestling and competing anything, if your corner's yelling at you, you usually don't hear them. You're focused here.
Yeah.
But you're not even really focused on making sense of what's happening.
Right.
You're just listening to noises at that point.
Yeah.
So when you hear that cadence of don't move, you think that go is coming.
I mean, but don't you think that's the athlete's fault? Because don't you think they should have somehow trained and rehearsed this?
But I think
rules and then train for it.
That's it.
But so that's what I was going to say. Since it's brand new and people aren't used to it,
they thought
I would say it's more on us than them. As we go further, it's going to be on them because they know what it is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? This is the first time that they've pretty much experienced that type of
I think
setup
that
in arm wrestling.
My thoughts on don't move being too many is
let's talk about that.
You set my shoulders, don't move. Mm-hmm. I understand you very well then. Mm-hmm. You do not have to say don't move to me again.
Yeah.
You said his shoulders, don't move. Mm-hmm. I'm going to close you first. I'm going to close you. Don't move.
Right. So
you only had to tell me once. You could tell us both once, and then
this is a ref script procedure. I'll move the mic over here. Ref script procedure, as written in the rules.
I'll make it clear.
We put our elbows down. Referee adjusts our elbows and aligns our webbing. Says don't move. Okay. Then he's going to adjust my shoulders. Say don't move. Then he's going to adjust your shoulders. Say don't move. So we've got 3 don't moves. Mm-hmm. Okay. Then he already knows how our hands are going to close. So we close our hands, our thumbs. So going to close my hand, don't move. Close your hand, don't move. Go. Mm. So that's 5 don't moves. Mm-hmm. And now IFA rules don't say the last 2 don't moves. They say the first 3. Mm-hmm. Don't move, don't move, don't move. And then it just says, close your hands, go. Ready, go.
I like that.
Here's the problem. Is when we saw the most fouls happen during a referee's grip at this point.
Yes. Don't move. Yeah.
They would close their hand.
Yeah. A lot of people, they're used to moving their hands.
We kept seeing that foul over and over.
And over. Yeah.
And that's why when I say don't move, I mean it. Yeah. And I'm saying don't move because I put your wrist there and I want you to keep it there.
Right.
When I close the next guy's wrist, I don't want you to move your shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Keep your pronation where it is.
Yeah. So I wish there was another way to say don't move that's all encompassing, or where you square their shoulders and it's don't move. I think the webbing is weird because it's like, unless they keep moving, right? So I'll put my hand down first, I'll put my elbow down first, and then I'll get into position. Once I stop moving and he stops moving, then it's like, okay, you have your position, I'm squaring your shoulders. Square your shoulders, don't move. Square your shoulders, don't move. And now from there, it's I'm going to close your thumbs. I'm going to close your hands. Ready, go.
Yeah.
You know, like that. Don't move is
go.
Yeah. Go.
Yeah.
But
I like that. Just get rid of one.
Right. Get rid of one, and that would be the one to get rid of.
The preemptive one.
The problem with that though is elbow placement. That was the part where I had to, and I could have been real strict. And I was just trying to move the match along and not like give people warnings, fouls. But people kept moving their elbow
going forward after you pushed
it
back.
Move it back, and they're like, okay.
Yep. Creep.
Yeah.
I'm looking right at you.
Yeah.
I'm watching you move.
Yeah.
I had said that a couple times, you know. But so that's why they really need that don't move
control with
Yeah. So they need that first don't move. They really need it.
Yeah.
It's the one they don't need is the shoulders. That's the one they don't need. In terms of, in my opinion, the least important, the one that has the least bearing on fairness is shoulders.
Yep.
Unless it's like it get extreme. There are extreme cases where it does matter. But I think for the most part, like if you're here, that's fine. You don't need to be.
No.
I think here is okay.
That's fine.
You know, like that's what I'm okay with that.
So then maybe the protocol is I switch the referee's grip from elbows first to shoulders first.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And I don't say don't move.
I like that because then
I like it too.
Yeah, square your shoulders.
We're already like getting comfortable.
Yeah.
Shoulders.
Yep.
Shoulders. Elbows. By the time I get these elbows where they're supposed to be these shoulders.
They can't. So the reason that's tough for me,
we all know that.
It's tough for me because what I'm trying to position off the bat that you're not going to correct me on is typically the shoulder or the corresponding hand that I'm wrestling with.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm going to be comfortable. If you sat my shoulder for me and then put my arm down in a way that I don't arm wrestle, I'm going to be really uncomfortable and it might really fuck with me.
Yeah.
Where I'm going to get to where I want and then you're going to square me to what's proper, but I'm typically going to keep my where I want to be.
Yeah.
And I think that's important. We'll have to.
I don't want it to be annoying, but I also want it to be effective. Right. So we have to balance, efficacy with. It's fucking annoying. I think you have to do right, and too many no-nos can be annoying.
But you did everything right. We have to experiment with, because having the no cadence is fucking awesome. Because the matches were not this cheaty. The match has moved 7 inches on that eddy, right? And then it's going, like the ref did his best. And it's like, he did his best.
I know.
We didn't have that because there was it was go. And both guys, very, very good.
And I think East versus West refs are great, but they do miss that on the ready. And you see the guys start winding up and they let it. I think that they don't call fouls because if one guy starts doing it and the other guy starts doing it too, they're like, okay, it's like a coincidental foul, ready, go. But if one guy's doing it, the other guy's not, that's when they'll call the foul, So it's kind of like a gentleman's agreement. I still don't like,
I just think that, the way East versus West do it is they don't say the last ready goes when you close the hand. And I think maybe we just do that and we just continue to
close the hands.
Last
don't moves.
Last don't moves. They just close the thumbs, close the hands.
People warnings when they fucking do it. Because Trey did the thing that
he always
doesn't
does.
actually do.
He got a grip and he doesn't do
it. He doesn't do it. So he did that, and there a couple people did that.
Yeah, a bunch of people did.
Yeah, I understood the Caleb Ricks and Michael one because,
and that's why I say don't.
It's like the hardest foul to catch is when the other guy turns you over. And you're like, I didn't foul, man. But like you did. I get it. I mean, it's like the one Leonard Harkless tests you hard on.
And Nathan, I did, the right thing, I think, which was just call coincidental.
Right. Yep.
And both the guys know. They're both been around enough.
And technically, Nathan is right in that call. Because they both didn't move. Right. And therefore, it's coincidental.
It is.
So.
When people
the rule set.
When people move their hands from closing, that's an athlete problem. I mean, you've been doing this long enough. You should know when the ref touches your fingers, he's just closing it. Don't. Just control that. You know what I mean? Like maybe stop doing all your wrist curls from the bottom up. Like you have to practice that stuff. But this is why, like you said, it's so much easier to train in the ref script every single time.
If you have a real ref on hand.
Instead of, oh God, this guy might do, you don't have to worry about it.
You fuck around.
We all have enough self-discipline when training to set ourselves up in a fair ref script with our training partner.
Yes.
We should.
We should. Call people out. Just, hey, man. I get it.
I mean, at least for me, when I'm at practice, I'm always starting first.
Yeah, me too. Because I want to be able to do it in a tournament.
Here's the problem with that, which is one thing that was interesting about Leonard Harkless when he was talking about the elbow bobbles rules. It has to be up, down. And people got really good at that. And it worked great for us. And for him, all of his super match events were like that. And people got really used to it. And then when they went to go compete at other events, they couldn't keep their elbows.
That sucks.
So if you just train in a ref script all the time, you're not going to be prepared for a free
grip.
And a real
Except you could go into a free grip with IFA. You could just not take a grip.
Yeah.
It's not fucking hard to get into a ref.
Well, so
30 seconds, I can go like this.
If you go to Worlds, you're going to have a tougher time.
Exactly.
I've watched Worlds, and if you wanted to go into a ref script, you could literally play a game for 30 seconds.
I was just watching it
and stare at the ref.
Like they didn't even
Worlds.
IFA
Worlds hasn't happened yet. You're talking about WAF Worlds.
Okay, well, I've had two.
The best referees in the world are IFA refs. We're talking about IFA Worlds.
Yes.
And they will give you a warning for
not taking a grip. Again, you can play
what's
the
it called?
Delay of grip.
Delay of grip.
Yeah, for delaying.
But that's also subjective.
Yeah, this would
right? Because it's like, I'm not taking a grip because this guy's trying to do some fucking.
It's not subjective when you're just sitting there playing a game.
Yeah, but if the guy's not allowing you to get a quote unquote, like getting a free grip, is that getting a fair grip?
No.
No, it's trying to cheat or what the other person may consider cheating.
Let's think about it this way.
So
if
it's
this was in the Olympics, what would they have?
Set grip.
What do you mean?
Exactly.
100%.
If
not a set grip, but
the ref grip.
If this sport, arm wrestling, were in the Olympics, what would you think they would want?
Ref grip. They don't want to fuck
possibly have a match where the person is
No,
and they're arguing with the ref. And just go, just
because they would see immediately that wasn't fair.
Which is why you give them a warning for delay of grip.
But we don't ever see this.
But
I don't know that I mean, maybe I need to go back and watch some IFAs
with that.
Yeah, I think ref grip is how it would be in the Olympics, how it should be pretty much everywhere.
I think
it's just the easier way.
In a competitive scene, that is what I think would be the standard.
Yes,
straight to ref script.
Straight to ref.
I don't know. I think that it's combat sport, and part of the combat happens in the setup. You know, it's like let's fight in the setup.
No, the combat happens when you say go.
Well, so in a combat sport, like most other combat sports, the opponents are away from each other. Why? Because if you start too close to each other, that's when you can get an advantage. Yep. So almost all of them have a separation. Wrestling, I think, has the closest because you're going to stand maybe 3 feet apart from each other at the start. And then if you got to go to referee's position, you're touching the other guy's back, but you can't do anything else except that. If you want to it's a referee's grip because you're either going to put your triangle on the back.
You got to get to the referee's grip.
Well,
in wrestling.
No, it's gonna happen. But yeah, it's gonna happen.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah. But the referee is gonna start both guys on separated, and then it's go. You know what I mean? Instead of like
touching.
All right. Yeah. You know, like they'll do that.
You can also make the argument that the referee's purpose is to get the grip to be fair and a free grip.
That should be the referee's purpose.
Yeah.
His purpose is to make the match
fair. So the argument is that the free grips are fair because the referees made it fair. After you get your grip, referee makes it fair.
But he can't feel the pressure.
I know.
That
we all
know what
know
I mean?
that.
Yeah, there's so much.
Referee's grip is more fair. We know.
I think it's more fair. But I see what you're saying.
I'm just really passionate about this because I really feel like that would be the game changer.
It's such a game changer.
Personally, and dude, this is from someone who I feel so many of my matches because, and you know what? I'm saying this because I'm a slow motherfucker at the table, you know, because I'm not that experienced, and I've had so many of my matches go ready. And that's it. Yeah. I told Livingston, I said, the only reason why you got that jump on me is because you went on ready.
Yeah.
And we all saw it. At that,
sometimes you get it,
yeah, dude.
Yeah.
I was like, you will not do that.
Another one of the beautiful things of how this slowed the match down is we had so many fights.
Yes.
Think of how many of our matches were not flashes.
Exactly.
They were fights at the center. They were fights
because it was fair.
Yeah,
that was so cool.
I think it did slow down a lot of the matches.
Man,
losing
the ready and having the ref script.
I think it made
more of a fight.
Yeah, more of a fight.
Because if I get over on you, right? So I'm a guy that can cheat. Pretty much all the guys that I'm able to go against with the top roll, if you let me get a grip and I feel you and you're not good, man, I'm going to climb all over you and give you just enough knuckle that I know he'll say it's okay, especially depending on who it is. And now I'm looking for the Eddie, and I'm just going to take hand control.
I just feel like if you get rid of it, you're getting rid of such a huge piece of the sport. And I feel like there's a difference between our rule set, and here's why I'm like, because we got rid of the free grip, you know, and it didn't take much convincing, you know, for me to be like, let's just get rid of the free grip. Makes sense, right? But we're trying to entertain people.
Yeah.
When we're talking about Olympics, I want to find the best athlete on the planet.
I see what you're saying there. I see what you're saying there.
Sport is the element of the free grip. You know, it's fucking complicated.
Yeah.
And it's part of the sport, in my opinion.
But also at the same time, like you guys say, and I kind of disagree, is like all matches go to strap anyway, right? So why do we even do the free grip? Because these guys make it so that they can slip, right? Me, I like to hang on, right?
You can hang on in the ref grip.
Yeah.
That's maybe one of the reasons that James wasn't able to get away.
Right. You get set to where they cannot escape. Because that's one of my moves. Fingers. If I'm with you, I think I need to. Yeah, I'm setting up to fire.
Yeah.
So, it's either one. I don't know.
I feel like you don't get rid of the strap because some fights happen without a strap.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I think the strap is fine.
In a specific way because there was no strap. Maybe you got to hold somebody's finger, depending with their finger because there was no strap.
I'm just saying it gives people that want to hold on a chance to hold on. Right, because the ref is making sure everybody's hand is closing on top of the other guys. Yeah, you know what I mean?
But should you have to earn that?
The ref's grip?
The chance to hold on.
Man.
I'd rather
AKA ref's grip.
Well, see, but the same thing can be said about slipping.
It comes down to the sentence can you out-cheat your opponent?
Right.
And it's literally you will cheat. You will be like, I'm going to try and create a space in my hand. Like I have a ball so that my pronation is so intact and I've created a gap to be able to fly around you. Yeah. In a ref grip, you pin me to him and you have sacrificed my cheating ability.
But again, and it's funny you just said, well, that's like, the slips. It's like, well, that's why we have intentional slips rules.
Yeah, but
people from
just like refs can't feel what the athletes are doing.
You can't tell.
You can't tell. I can probably tell sometimes when a ref can't see that guy let go.
Yeah,
he let go. You know what I mean? So it's all kind of, it all makes sense. Mm-hmm. Like everybody's argument makes sense.
Yes, absolutely.
So, and I think that's what's interesting about arm wrestling. Like there's still nothing concrete like every other sport. Yeah. There's like concrete ways to play this sport. This one, man, there's a lot of nuances to it.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think it's important that we have a concrete.
We're trying to figure. Like this last one, nobody complained that I know about anything that was happening.
That was the best part.
And I was like,
my different athletes.
That was sick.
Everybody was like, my biggest questions were on that. Like, how did everybody feel? What do you think of things? The referee was good, and it felt really fair.
Yeah,
that's it.
Yeah, it looks fair.
That's number one. Is it didn't felt like you had a shake. You didn't come, and he went early every time. It was obnoxious. Yeah. You can't tell he's going on the Eddie like.
Right.
I hear that at every single.
You know he's going to go on
the cheated. Yeah. No one felt cheated.
Yeah. Nobody did.
Yeah, and he didn't see how high he was on my thumb.
Yeah,
and it was like.
No, nobody. I saw no.
Even Polanco, who unfortunately he got dominated. Mm-hmm. He didn't complain at all.
No,
I spoke to him briefly, and he was like, "Yo, dude, you win some, you lose some. I just gotta get better."
Everyone who got dominated 3-0'd, you could see on their face that they were just frustrated because they were not strong enough. They weren't ready. It wasn't like, man, he went before. Like, you can tell the difference in frustration. And I was like, it's all on them. They're just like, too strong.
Fun example of this, because Heath has no intention to cheat you whatsoever. Mm-hmm. He literally wants it to be fair as hell, and he's just going to fly.
Yeah.
And where Drew is going to look for a way to manipulate, much more calculated, he's finding a way to create a chink in your armor and then exploit it. Different game.
Yeah.
We maybe just slowed it down, focused on violence, and violence won the day.
Exactly.
I loved it because it was fun.
I thought it was cool.
It was cool.
It was cool.
Very cool.
It seemed like
I think everything you implemented was perfect.
It seemed so structured. I was like, this is fucking great. Like I'm watching the guys come up and you get there and you gave them a second to they got to the table and everybody got their shit and you're like, all right. You put the elbows down and you started going after it. And I was like, and it was the same every single fucking match. And I was like, this is how it's supposed to be. Yep. Just get it going. I loved it. Yeah. I thought it was fucking fantastic.
I think like you said at the beginning, we're all our greatest critics.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Each one of us.
Oh, yeah. You don't got to tell me. I am.
Yeah.
I'm always shitting on myself.
There's lots of fine tuning to do.
Yes.
But I think it was great success.
Was great.
It's definitely something to be proud of.
Yeah.
Man.
100%.
The biggest takeaway for me is Aduro had fun and they loved it.
Yeah.
Yeah, the studio we were at, man.
The studio.
Yeah.
And a piece of that for me is it took so much time and energy to get to where we had this place that we could duplicate it again. Mm-hmm. This becomes exponentially more duplicable. Mm-hmm. And it removes a whole lot of time in the setup because now we know what we're setting up.
Yeah.
Like twice as fast, which frees up twice as much time for us to work on the things like the audio and things like that we want to fine tune. And we know how and what to fine tune it. Right. They're like, let's run it back. Let's do it the same and then look for small improvements, not recreate the wheel. Right. We got the wheel. Let's add spokes. And now
the formula.
Nail down the details.
The formula is the same. The audio fucked up again, and it's my fault. I tried to correct an issue that I had last time, and it made it double. And I was like, fuck. And there's a lot of jobs that I had on that day. Trying to fix that while trying to keep track of everything else, it was not possible. So as you can see, instead of bringing Dustin and Frank up on the big screen, I made a picture-in-picture, and that got rid of it. And it's just there's always going to be tweaks, man. We're doing like a larger medium scale production with a very small amount of people, and we're learning, but we're going to get better at it. So,
and we've learned we can move some things around and some jobs around. And there's so much more to take away from this one than the last, because the last, we threw it together in the garage and said, we can do this and get something cool. This is way cooler.
100%.
And like I said, let's add some spokes. Like it's just 100% doing it again. Let's go.
Absolutely. Anyway. We got to figure out the matches for the next one. We'll announce the date in about 3 weeks. There's a lot more to come. The events are just like, it's just one part. I think everybody's going to be pleasantly surprised when we start doing what we really want to do. But these events are going to help us get to that point. And I think everybody's going to enjoy what we do, how we bring life into the sport of arm wrestling. So please support us any way that you can. Hitting like and subscribe. That's probably one of the biggest things.
Easiest thing to
Make
do.
a comment, on anything. I don't care if it's a bad comment. I'll laugh at it. It doesn't matter to me. I just
William Palmer.
William Palmer. I saw him in the chat.
I know.
And I thought I turned the chat off because I just didn't want to deal with that at that point. And then I was like, the chat's on.
Thanks
whatever. I don't know. This William Palmer guy.
It's good.
Going forward, we're gonna shock you guys. So thanks for rocking with us. And that's his podcast.
Yep.
Okay.
Peace out. Thank you.